Thank you for joining the Roadside Market session. I'm Kelly Henry. I'm here with Georgia Farm Bureau, and I'll be the moderator for this session along with the amazing Chalmers from South Carolina Farm Bureau. The two of us, South Carolina and Georgia Farm Bureau, are sponsoring today's session.
Good morning. As Mr. Michael said, my name is Carissa Ruth. I'm with Titan Farms. I am the Director of Retail Sales. I manage the Sarah's Roadside Markets as well as Sarah's Farm Adventure. So I'm going to tell you all about that. Today we'll be going over who are we. We're going to talk about the creation of Sarah's Farm Adventure, the offerings that we have there in the park, our seasonal employment and our training program, how we got our start with our social media focus, our attendance summary, future expansions, and then we'll have any questions at the end. Okay. We are owned by Titan Farms, who was founded in 1999 by Chalmers and Lorianne Carr. We began with 1,500 acres, and we've grown to 7,500 acres of peaches and vegetables, with crops being harvested more than 36 weeks of the year. We are diversified frozen processor and packer of fruits and vegetables, what's called palmetto processing, and we've owned Sarah's Fresh Market for 18 years. And this year we've been blessed with a president in Ross Williams, so we have enjoyed working with him this past year. A lot of times in the park people ask us, and at Sarah's Fresh Market, who is Sarah? Was there really a Sarah? And a lot of people, because they see me on social media now, think I'm Sarah. So a lot of times I just go with it. And they go, hey, Sarah. Hey, how you doing? One lady brought her grandchildren over to have her pictures made with me the other day. It was quite humorous. So I just kind of go with it now. But there was a Sarah. Lamar and Sarah Powell started Sarah's Fresh Market over 40 years ago. And actually, that's Miss Sarah there on the screen. She came to work with us several days before she passed in 2017. And she could work circles around us. And it always made me laugh because she'd come in her white shirt and her khaki shorts, and she'd be as clean as a whistle, but she'd work circles around us. But she started her fresh market out of the back of her Cadillac, actually. She would go out to Fort Gordon and sell peaches there out at Fort Gordon. And she got very popular, so she decided to open a roadside market there in Trenton, where she lived. And she would go up and down Highway 25. She'd get really popular, and whoever she was renting land from would say, okay, we're going to open a market this year, and she'd move somewhere else until finally a gentleman sold her an acre of land, and that's where she's been for over 40 years. Well, she got a little tired of it, so about 18 years ago, she called Chalmers and Lorianne, and she said, I'm ready to hang up my peach basket. If y'all come to the house, I want to talk to you about something. So she came to the house, and she said, they came to her house, and she said, if you will sell it, if you'll run it with family first, great produce, and good customer service, I'll sell you my name and my market. So they did that. And so we have run it. I've managed it for 10 years. I used to work at Wardlaw Academy as a small private school in Johnston. I did that and ran the market. And then 3 years ago, Chalmers called me about a full-time position with Sarah's Farm Adventure. This is our roadside market there. We're on the side of Highway 25. So we're kind of on that strip going to the beach. So for our little area, people have always stopped for years on their way to the beach or to the lake. And so we also have ice cream there with soft serve ice cream. We make homemade peach and strawberry ice cream. And then we have 16 Hershey flavors there in the house. For the last 2 years, we've gotten the Golden Scoop Award because we've gotten so popular with that. We've now expanded into strawberries. So we open in April for strawberries. And then, of course, we go into peaches until September. And we also have 3 locations. We have the original location in Trenton. We have one in Aiken on Highway 1. And then we also have our local sales area that is considered Sarah's number 3 there at the farm where we do our bulk sales. But 3 years ago, when Chalmers called me about looking into agritourism for a full-time position, I started traveling around the U.S. learning what agritourism was. We joined 2 conferences. We joined what's called NAFMA, National Association for Agritourism, and we also joined the Corn Party, which is the people that cut your maize. So we went to those conferences, and then we started touring all these farms to learn what agritourism entailed. People joke that I turned my job into a vacation, and I guess I did because I did a lot of playing and having a lot of fun. So Chalmers told me, he said, I want you to create it like you have all the money in the world. And he didn't know this little country girl liked to spend money. So I walked in with this plan, and And he said, wait a minute, this is a little bit bigger than I thought we're going to do. So we've made a plan to do it in phases. So we're in actually phase number 2. So I went to the Planning and Commission because one of the things they told us at conference was you're going to play heck trying to get through all your city and council things. So I went in and I talked to them, the Planning and Development Committee, and I said, tell me everything they're going to ask me. So before they could even ask me any questions, I had already talked to DOT, I had already talked to the water department, everything. So we actually got full approval for all 5 phases. I never have to go back before the committee again. So we got approval for all 5 phases in February of 2024. And so we broke ground. Well, this is why we chose to do it, first of all. It's a great way to educate the public about where their food is grown. Believe it or not, a lot of people don't know where the food comes from. Children nowadays don't know that popcorn comes from an actual piece of corn. They don't know that. Demonstrate how producers protect and care for the land and natural resources. And it is an opportunity to diversify. For the visitor, is it a unique and authentic experience? It's a rest and relaxation from everyday life. Have an adventure or celebrate an occasion and experience South Carolina culture and heritage. For the community, we have seasonal and full-time employees. We help build the local economy. We attract visitors to the county, and we have promotion of local businesses. And we have a lot of people, like we had a real estate company come out and rent what we have. We have birthday barns, and they had their big Christmas celebration out there with us. So it's a way for everybody just to kind of connect with each other and make good memories is what we were wanting to do for the county. So we broke ground in 2024. We saw it as a educational entertainment destination. We have a corn maze, a pumpkin patch, games, food, you-pick, animals, and holiday events. And the picture there at the bottom, at the corn party, we won Best Photo Opportunity of 2024 with that there. That's one of the big things in agritourism is so many people are on social media, and they want that picture. So Best Photo Opportunity is a big deal. So we were really blessed to do that in our first year. And then that's our corn maze there at the top. It's called Tree of Hope for this year. It was dedicated to all those family members who are fighting cancer every year. So it's a peach tree with the cancer ribbon in it. As I said earlier, we had our approval in February of 2024. We broke ground February 12th. Our first year investment was $2.8 million, and our second year was $861,000. We have 106 acres between Highway 25 and Highway 19, which is the main thoroughfare through our area from Columbia, and then the other one from Augusta area. So we're right there in the middle where Augusta and Columbia meet. So we get quite a bit of people in through there. Now this is our creation of Sarah's. The first picture is the very first day we broke ground. That is the actual store that you're looking at. And then the one on the left is our pig races. We have pig races. I'll tell you about that in a minute. The second one is you see the store there, a little pavilion where we eat. And then this bottom picture is I'm standing on the top of a sand pit, a sand pyramid looking out across. And that's what it looks like in the first year. So that's how we started. Peaches, cleared them, burned them, and then we started breaking ground. And this is this year. This is what we look like this year. So we opened September the 19th of 2024, Thursday through Sunday only. We are a seasonal operation at this moment, September to December. We have field trips Tuesday to Thursday. We'll be expanding into Fridays this year because our field trips have gotten so popular. And we've had a lot of people request that. On the back side up there, at the top up there, are hoop houses that we pick and sell in our store. So we have fresh produce that we sell right there in our store. The one thing that you can't see, that's parking right there. All the open space that you see is parking, and then future areas for the park. The one thing that you can't see is we do have U-pick. We have peaches, blueberries, and blackberries at the moment. We'll have strawberries in 27, but we do have a U-pick area there as well. Now, some of our activities that we offer. The first thing that you see is our turbo track. These are big enough for adults to ride. The worst person I've had to get onto is the Baptist preacher. I had to go over and get onto him because he was running all the little kids off the track. So parents get in that as well. The next one is the bubble barn. You mix that with some Dawn dish detergent and they make these really big bubbles. And when it's cold, they'll travel for far ways. I'd have to go over and get the construction workers out of the bubble barn after I was practicing with them. So I had to make sure we didn't put bubbles in there while we were working. A lot of fun. The next thing that you see down there at the bottom is the duck racers. They're duck pumps, and you put little plastic duck racers in there. And we had a lady the other day that I had, was 4 ladies. One lady had a baby in her carriage on her chest, and I had to go solve a disagreement because they were trying to say who won and who didn't. And I said, wait a minute, ladies, wait a minute. Come on, let's do it again. So it was a lot of fun. The next one is a combine slide. We took an old combine, cut a hole in it, and you slide down through the combine, which is a lot of fun. We talked about pig races. We have 8 coon pigs that we race in 4s, and they've been taught from the time they got delivered to us to now how to go in their little kennels. They have little 4 places. We open the thing and they race around. People love, as you can see, that's the next picture over there, everybody cheering. They love that little pig race. It's quite humorous. The next thing we have is we have 3 apple cannons. They're like large cannons that you put, they're air compressed, put an apple down in them and shoot the apple. It's very popular. We have all kind of targets out there for them to shoot. People love that. We have 2 jump pillows that we divide people out by sizes. And then the next thing that you see is the 1,100 bushels of corn that we have in our corn barn, which is very popular. I see grown men and they're doing corn angels and things like that. It's quite humorous. We had a lady in there one of our first weekends that her mama had put so much corn down her pants she had to go and clean it out, and there was corn everywhere. So adults and children love that corn barn. All right. The next thing that we have is we have the first jack-o'-lantern lane in South Carolina. This is a half-mile walking trail that is faux pumpkins. They're carved into different scenes. We have 14 scenes all set to music, different things in there, and it's computerized. You can see one of them on the left-hand side. One of our scenes is God Bless the USA, and that's the raising of the flag. The next one is Day of the Dead down there at the bottom, and that's pretty interesting. That's it's done with black light. At the top is our ode to state of South Carolina. So that's our palmetto tree with our peach coming out of the top of it. And then this is an addition at the bottom. This is an addition for this year. That is Mrs. Peach. Miss Peach is our mascot. That's a 14-foot interactive coloring book. So there are buttons on that, and you can change her lips, change her eyes, and everyone loves that. We also have 2 hayride wagons that we do. And the hayride wagons have the handicap ramp on them, so anybody can ride those. And those also have lights on those as well. So we have the jack-o'-lantern lane in the fall, and in the Christmas season we have Santa's Southern Lights. And so we have a 3-week period. We change from fall over to Christmas, and it's redone with Christmas lights, and each scene has Christmas music, and it's all computer programmed. So it's quite fun on that. It's on our hayride as well. So we're expanding our hayride to have lights on it as well. We have a corn maze. We have a 7-acre corn maze, and each year the scene changes. We have the animal area. We rent our animals from upstate South Carolina. It's actually called Zuber, so Zoo Uber. And so we rent the animals, and then they go back at the first of the year. So we have, we had a sheep this year. We have goats. We have alpaca. We have a donkey. We have, we have 4 pigs. We have 2 ponies, and all kind of goats. So that's what we have there. We also have sunflower and zinnia fields. This year, the Lord wasn't real good with us with the sunflowers, so he wiped those out for us 3 times. But we had 5 acres of zinnias, which were very popular. And we also have an acre pumpkin patch where they go and pick their pumpkins. And then we have photo opportunities all around. We talked about the first one. That was what it looks like in the fall. That's our pumpkin town. And then we have Santa's Village. We have all kind of different places around the park that you can get pictures, which is, people really enjoy that. We also have lots of events throughout the year. We've already talked about field trips. We have the field trips. We have partnered with several schools, like for beta clubs and things, for them to do their community service hours. So they've come out and helped us do things in their stores and different things. So we partner with the community. We've had a lumberjack show. We have, because we are in fall, we have costume days where they can come out and trick or treat with us out at the park. We have had a kite festival where we had the Guinness Book of World Records kite out there. There in the middle, the American flag kite. That's the biggest American flag kite there is. We've had the princesses come out during the fall and Christmas. That's quite popular. And also the superheroes. You can come out and visit with them and get your picture made with them. We also have the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus come out, and we do the Hocus Pocus movie that night. And then we also have our chickens there. We let them, people love to watch them peck our jack-o'-lanterns. So they've made our jack-o'-lanterns the last 2 years, so that's what it has done with that. And in the Christmas time, we have more things there. We have the princesses come out and do a sing-along. That was one of our most popular events that we had, was a sing-along. People were at the stage waiting for this princess to start singing. We have live music on the weekends. Santa Claus is there from Thanksgiving until Christmas. We've had 2 fireworks shows, a drone show, and of course the Grinch comes to visit. A couple of times that the Grinch has been there, I have run up there trying to see what's going on, thinking it was something bad with the sheriff, like, come on, let's go check out what's going on. It was just the Grinch. It was quite humorous. So I thought we had a problem. It wasn't. It was just him being him. This year, last year we started with food truck vendors, which you can't control the food truck vendors. If they decide they don't want to be there any longer, they'll just get up and go, which is kind of hard when you have 7,000 people looking at you to be fed. So this year we expanded into our own food. So we added a grill this year. We added 2 bars. There were some old silos at one of our packing houses. And I went in and I said, can I have these? And he said, sure. And so we turned them into bars. So we also have donuts, things of that nature. We have beer, wine, hard cider. We have cotton candy. We do chicken fingers, pizza, things like that. Our seasonal employment, we have 4 full-time employees. We have 105 seasonal employees being college and high school. We start interviews in July to August. We have an online training program with our Learn 365. And so what we've done is we make videos for everything that goes on in the park, from how to make donuts to how to give out the warnings for the track, the turbo track. And then they have quizzes after they've watched the videos. They have quizzes at the end of that. And they're done in divisions. We also have a written handbook with a parental form, because what will happen is they'll try to use that excuse, Mama said. And I'll say, well, Mama signed a contract, so this is your job, so we can't go using Mama on it. I mean, some of it is Mama said, but some of it is, I want to go to the lake, or I want to go do this. So we have a parental contract with that. And we have divisions. We have hosts and hostesses that walk around and have birthday parties. They're the host for the day. We greet them at the ticket booth and say, how can I help you, and get them situated in. We have entertainers, which walk around and speak to the employees, and then they do their pig races. So they're the ones entertaining in the pig area. We have food and beverage. So these people are only doing any of our concession stand stuff or any of our snack foods. And then we have the activities. So these people work from the turbo track to the shot spot to the jump pillow to the corn crib. Of course, janitorial. And we have floaters. Those are the people that fill in different places. We have animal people, and then everyone over 21 can work beer and wine. So that's what we have going on there as far as how we train our people. It's a lot of moving parts, so we have to make sure everybody knows their area, knows their division. How we got our start, we started with 2 people. Myself and my marketing girl were the only 2 people we had as followers on our social media. We partnered with Audience Media Group out of Texas. They are specific for agritourism as well as events. And then we built our website with online ticketing through Ticket Spice. They've been wonderful. There were some features that we didn't have that I had to have for ease of use, and they have created that for us. So they've been great to work with. It's kind of like working with your family. So we've grown our Facebook following to 46,972 people with 24 million views and 855 in engagement. That's this year alone. That's just this year from September to end of December. Instagram is 12,000 followers, 4 million views, 34,000 in engagement. TikTok, we have 6,000 followers and 85,000 likes. These are a few of the reviews. I'll read this one, this last one. It says, 100% definitely take your kids, take here, or take yourself here, take your family here, take somebody here. You got to show somebody. Jonathan Ledford, which I really like that one. Of course, we have some reviews that aren't always positive, but we're at 4.3 on our rating scale on Google. So we have had some really great feedback. So with all that said, this year we had 67,888 total attendance. Actually, that was done before the end of the year. We had 69,738, I believe. I was 262 away from our 70,000 person goal. 3,909 of that is field trip students. That's grown from 1,700 last year, so that's why we're adding our Friday, because we had a lot of requests for a Friday date, so we've grown that quite a bit. That's a 13.1 increase in visitors from 2024. That is just September to December. September the 19th through January 3rd, we've had almost 70,000 people there. Our largest day was 11,317 people. That was 2 weeks after Helene, and we didn't know what we were going to do because it was like the faucet got turned on, and we needed extra parking, so we cut a fence. We made an extra parking lot. So we now have rollover parking. We have visitors from South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina, Florida, West Virginia, and Virginia. That's just the majority of where they come from. We've had them come from, visiting family and things. I mean, as far as Hawaii, because I looked it up just on a lark. Do we have any Hawaii people? And I had like 15 orders from Hawaii. I thought, well, there we go. But I'm sure they're just here visiting. Like I told you, we're in our second year. We're learning. There's a lot to learn every day. But we have our plans for future expansion. We're going to do some building upgrades. We would like to add some offerings. Low-lying ropes course, outdoor musical instruments, mom barns. Those for those young moms that need to feed their babies, change them, that sort of thing. I'd like some sensory areas, and my goal one day is to have a full ADA playground where anyone in any ability to move, from wheelchairs to arm bars, things like that, can move, a full ADA playground. A community, we want to partner more with our communities to do Hungry No More, things of that nature, a full bakery, an event space, and then on the final one, a full-service restaurant, like a family-style restaurant. So you go in and get a plate of chicken or a big thing of macaroni and cheese, potatoes, that sort of thing. Those are our future expansions. That's what we have. It's been a blessing to watch the children. When you see them laughing with their parents and having a good time, it's quite a blessing, and it makes me feel good that I'm allowed to help carry on Miss Sarah's legacy and to honor the hard work Chalmers, Lorianne, Ross, and the team put in every day. So it's been a very big blessing to me. So that's who we are. That was how we created Sarah's. The things we offer: seasonal employment, our media focus, our attendance, and our expansions. Do we have any questions? Yes, ma'am. So our ticket price is $19.99 online, general admission, and $24.99 at the door. We do have an additional ticket if you want to do the walking trails. Some people just want to come in and do the park and not do the walking trails because it's over in the woods by itself, and that's an extra $15 for that. Yes, ma'am. So for the most part, yes, we're open rain or shine, and believe it or not, they come out in the rain. If it's going to be a complete washout, yes, we'll close. But for the most part, we have covered areas, and if it's just sprinkling, we're open, because we've had people out there. Like last Sunday, we had a family of like 9 or 10 out there, and it was sprinkling rain, and I thought, what in the world? But honey, they were having a good time, wet and all. They had a great time. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am, we do them at Christmas too. We've had as many as 200 in a day. I do them an hour apart, and I just kind of make sure that they're staggered so that when we only have one teacher and one hostess, and then we rotate them. So we do a rotating schedule. So we typically keep it to about 80 to 85 at a time. So I can do, 3 or 4 field trips in a day, so we can have upwards of 200, 240 kids out there. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. South Carolina has a great curriculum you can pull from. It's already 4 field trips and things, so we use that. It's called What's All the Fuzz? What's All the Fuzz About? Is one of the ones that we use for Peaches. So we do a pumpkin life cycle lesson. and then we do a peach life cycle lesson. And then at Christmas time, we still do the peach life cycle, but we also do animals and animal care, and how the animals give back to us is what we use on our curriculums. But there are full curriculums that give you all the standards so that you can tie them back, because your public schools, they're going to want to know how it meets standards, so they'll want that information, and you can give them all of that ahead of time. Yes, sir. I mean, I just worked with the lady with the beer and wine. I mean, there were certain things that I had to give her, and they just added it as part of our basic liability insurance, so that I didn't really have any extra hoops for agritourism as far as that's concerned. We just made sure that we did above the standards. Now the standard is you have to go through training. So we had already done all of that. So we already had kind of our boxes checked. So she really didn't give us much of an issue. It's 15 to 20, yes, sir. Yeah. And it's supposed to help this year because of the new laws coming in. It's supposed to be lowered some, is from what I understand. Yes. And once you get your license, it's a 2-year license. Depending on when you get it, you may have to re-up in that first year. But now that I have mine, it's a 2-year license. I won't expire till, because I got mine in 2025. I won't expire to 27. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, I work with a company called Winterland. They're out of Florida, and they can create all kind of things for you. I haven't put it out yet because it just came in at the end of the season. Like, they've created as a peach throne. It looks like a big peach basket, but it's Winterland. And my contact there is Randy. She's wonderful. That was originally an elephant. I told her I didn't need an elephant. I needed a peach. Yes, ma'am. NAFTMA is extremely helpful because it's not just in agritourism. Every farm that I've been to, I haven't been to one farm that has told me, yeah, I'm not teaching you how to do that. I mean, they've taken us behind the scenes. I mean, I've just done cold calls. Like, my first visit out was Ohio, and I just had gone through and done all my research, like some of the bigger ones. And I just called and I said, hey, we're getting started. I'm in South Carolina. She said, yeah, come on up. I mean, we went and stayed up there, and she took us and showed us everything behind the scenes. So it's NAFTMA, and then the Corn Party, which is through the maize company. And they've been wonderful. And then so it changes every year. So wherever you're going, like this year we're going to Orlando, and then the Corn Party's in Houston. And so not only do you go classes like this, but then you go to visit the farms. So they have a lot of farm stops that you do, and you go behind the scenes there. So I've gone from Michigan to California to Florida, Texas. I've gone all over. I do. I do have fun. I do have fun. If I had to start with something, it would be the corn barn, and your cannon. Like, you can get a couple cannons. I'd start with your corn barn, the corn pit. I mean, we have a tent over ours. I mean, there'll eventually be a building over it, but a corn pit and the apple cannon, and then a jump pillow. That's the jump pillows. We do the pillows. Like, they're installed in the ground. Some people like the jump pad. I did not. I like the jump pillows. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, up next, we're going to keep going. We have Howard Burke here with Ella J. Mushrooms.
Good morning, everybody. That is going to be hard to follow, and who needs Dolly World anymore? Just go over to the Sarah's Farm. That was amazing. I don't even think they sleep at all there. Well, I'm Howard Burke, and we have LJ Mushrooms, which is in North Georgia, about an hour and a half north of Atlanta. We started in 2018, and my love of mushrooms started when I was a wee boy. I used to go into the fields and chase grasshoppers, go on train trestles, jump into the water, and then all of a sudden I would always see like mushrooms out of these logs, and I was very curious around 10, 11, 12. Back then we didn't have the internet, so we'd have to go to the library to find out what was edible, which ones would kill you. So it's kind of where it started, and my passion for mushrooms continued into my college years. And then really when I started trying to get healthy, then I really focused on it. And I started my first mushroom company called Two Fun Guys, where you actually take a tree, you cut it down, and you talk sweetly to it, and then you put that in your backyard, and it grows mushrooms for a few years. 4 years, I guess 4 years ago, 4 years into that business, my new business partners found me through that company and said, let's feed the people. And I had a real passion for community and health. And one way I knew I could help in that area was by growing healthy food. Up until that point, I was doing IT for 17 years. It's a great transition. If anybody is looking for that career, it's a lot different than being in a cube all day. Outside is amazing. We're going to be all over the place a little bit with this. So when we started LJ Mushrooms, we started with 2 greenhouses, and we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't have a farm store then. We just kind of hit the ground running and said, let's try this out. Today we're growing about 5,000 pounds of shiitakes and about another 1,000 to 1,500 pounds of oyster mushrooms a week. When we first started, I think the first year we were under 1,000 pounds. We were selling to restaurants, farmers markets, anybody that would take it. One of the challenges, I think, with any business is to find out if you have an audience that will buy your product. And I would recommend if anybody started a mushroom farm or started any business is go find out with your audience in your area and go knock on doors and say, hey, if I grow this product, will you buy it? Currently, we have a farm store, which we'll show you in a few minutes. And we get a lot of people saying, hey, I'm from this area. How do I get started? And that's my recommendation. Go see if there is somebody that will buy your product. Everything in fruit and veg has a life cycle. So it's one of the biggest challenges with growing mushrooms is that if we don't sell them right away, they go bad. You don't want that to happen because then you're going to go out of business. So with those things, you need to have the resources to dehydrate them, dry them, come up with a value-add product, and then you have a little bit of longer time to find an audience for that. Uh-oh, hit a button. Let me go back one. So we also grow some golden oysters. We do that more in the summertime. They're more, the cold weather is not the best for them. We also grow amazing lion's mane. We started with 2 greenhouses, and now we're up to 11. And by the way, I grow mushrooms. I don't make great slide decks, so they're kind of all over the place. So as we progress with our greenhouses, I'm going to fast forward a second to some greenhouses. This is kind of a overview of what we had. This is an old picture. This is 2001. On the far left side or the bottom of it, we now have 2 new greenhouses there. We just installed our newest one. All of our old houses are just like this. They're a greenhouse on top of a greenhouse. They're about 120 feet long. And one of the things we did not realize being in rural Georgia is we don't have the proper power. So we have these little crappy shop heaters that we try to heat the greenhouses up, and it's not doing what it's supposed to. So during the wintertime, production really stalls. So you have to put more mushroom logs out and really hope for some warm days that the sun heats up the greenhouses. To fix that problem, we've just purchased a new insulated greenhouse where you have to spend all this money on concrete, HVAC. It's a whole nother game. They're now about $100,000 per greenhouse, and you're gonna have to grow a lot of mushrooms. So we came in late last night. We are running new power to it so that hopefully in about 7 days we can start growing in the new insulated house, which will allow us to grow in all types of weather. Let's go back here. We also, during this time, to figure out how we can incorporate the community and make people more aware of us. Being in Georgia, Georgia has an amazing program. Georgia Grown has one of the best agritourisms that I've experienced. We get great signs on the city roads. We get 4 of them where it kind of directs people to come to the farm. And then at our farm store, this allows people to come and experience. We have a U-pick pollinator garden, which I'll show you here in a second, but my pictures don't show any flowers. So during the time we have amazing zinnias, dahlias, they're U-pick. We just charge $10 a cup. People could come here and have picnics. We're working on to have more grab-and-go foods. We're about 10 minutes from downtown Ellijay, so we really want to embrace the families and community to come out there, spend their time, learn about it. We don't charge to come to the farm and to go across our bridge. I'm a big believer in access to food and to see how food grows. It should be free. A lot of people tell me we should be charging. When my kids were younger, even today, $15 is a lot of money. And it could stop somebody from going across that bridge and looking in there to see how mushrooms grow. And it's pretty amazing to see the kids, even some adults, talk about fungi, fungus, and they're so educated about mushrooms compared to 7 to 10 years ago. It's heartwarming to see this. So we are working on video, so when people come, we don't have a scheduled set time to do a tour. So hopefully by first quarter, we'll have the videos done with kind of voiceover on it showing what's happening, which stage. There's about 9 stages that happen throughout a greenhouse. And our guest will be able to scan a QR code, look at the video, and get more information about what's happening. Because right now they kind of just go in there and kind of have to use their imagination, come up to the farm store and guess. But that's better than not allowing them to get in there. We partnered with, we are certified farmers market with Kelly and the Farm Bureau. And through that process, we've been in their magazine Neighbors this year, which was a great highlight for the farm, and also brought some TV shows to us. So on the next slide, you can see Miss Kelly with Visit Florida. They came up and did some videos, which you can find online during the wintertime, which was really cold, but it was a lot of fun. And also we do the Farm Passport. So in Georgia, and if you're part of the Farm Bureau, there's an amazing pamphlet of all these farms throughout the state. You go there, you get a stamp on it, and then you get swag at the end of the year. So far, I think we had somebody come to the store that had 49 stamps, I think was the highest we've heard. Before that, it was like 30, so they'll go around. LJ has a good area of apple houses and other places to get stamps. I talked about our U-pick flowers. We love to get 4-H's, our schools to come visit us, and we'll do smaller groups. Right now, we're not built for like giant groups, so we can do about a group of 20, and we take the kids into the greenhouse. We let them harvest some mushrooms. We speak about it. We let them ask questions. They're very knowledgeable, and then all of a sudden, all these kids become mushroom farmers because they harvested. That video of the farm. So one of the challenges also about power is that all of our packaging has to be done by hand. We didn't realize it was a good thing because everything that we sell is plastic free currently. And a lot of our consumers love that. We are working on new packaging that will have a little bit of plastic in it. At the farm, we have under 1% waste. We just won snail of approval, I think, a year and a half ago for zero waste. Everything that goes on the floor, except for the tiny bit of plastic that some of the mushrooms are wrapped in for the mycelium to grow, everything goes up to compost. And then we sell our compost to other farmers, to the vineyards, and put it into our gardens also. I have 10 minutes left. I'm going all over the place. We sell to Whole Foods in the South, Ingles, a bunch of distributors, What Chefs Wants, Happy Dirts. We're always continuing to look for new distributors and places to sell our mushrooms. But all of this wouldn't work without our community. In North Georgia, we really don't have that many opportunities right now in Ellijay. You can work in the chicken houses and some of the apple farms. So I was given a chance, so we really try to provide the young men and women from our community to have an opportunity to do whatever they want to do. So if they want to become a leader, they could become a leader. If they want to go into sales, we'll teach them that. I don't have all the tools, but we have a group of people that can help us figure that out. Our farm manager right now, Israel Baptiste, he started with us 6 years ago, and now he's our farm manager. A lot of his family work with us. They are able to buy a house, have interest in it, so we just have to sell more mushrooms so that we can build our community. So literally, every mushroom we sell gives us an opportunity for us to to hire more people from our community. I'm gonna skip the health benefits. This is part of our compost. Up at the top, I'm in my grant era this year, so we did win the Value Add Producer Grant, which was amazing. We worked with a company called Stewards Unlimited, and we also won a riparian grant through Virginia Tech, where we just planted $10,000 worth of fruit trees, hazelnuts, elderberry, blackberry, blueberry, fig, pawpaws, all of this, which will turn into a value-add product, and we'll be able to sell that at our farm store, create more jobs. We're also diversifying. We also got an NRCS grant for a high tunnel. We just started planting carrots, beets, stuff that I used to do when I was a little kid, so I'm learning how to farm differently than mushrooms, which has been amazing. The first planting was great. We had tomatoes in there, and then the cold weather came, and all of them died because I didn't buy a heater, because it's $4,000. So if anybody has one laying around or knows one that falls off a truck, just let us know. We're here for that. So on our farm journey, I would just say, we grow organically. Also know if that's worth your money to see if it's your audience that like it. We have some companies that love it, some don't care. And then the other piece is, like, when we talk to our buyers, do people buy on a story? Always quality or price. So the quality has to be there, because if you sell something that doesn't last in their refrigerator, they're not going to come back to you. But for us, we always try to talk about our story with the quality, and there's a value. I'm not saying our prices are higher, sometimes they're lower, but it's also like, how do we encourage other people to try to sell our products with a story saying this builds a community? And I think that should be a piece that our vendors really focus on instead of price. I know price is everything, but it's amazing. This year, boxes have gone up 8% 3 times, and it's almost impossible to pass it on to a vendor, because somebody from out of state, up in Pennsylvania or something's gonna undercut you with a crappier product that won't last as long. So it's something to keep in mind when you buy things from a store. Is there a good story? Are you supporting something? That is a link. It's a website that has all your stuff. So everything from our Instagram to news stories to everything else on it. This is some contact information so you could learn about our farm and our farm team. And really, it started with just a dream of feeding people. And now at our farm store, we get a few hundred people a weekend. It's pretty awesome. Not as much as Sarah's, but that's a big victory for us. It is surprising that we go through downtown LJ and it's pretty quiet, and everybody comes out to the farm and our driveway is packed, and we've had to expand it because we're trying to bring something with value. And that's what we do with our team. Our values, our morals, and what we're trying to build in our community is just literally one taste bud at a time, one mushroom at a time. And it's worth the 10 minutes out of the way to come visit us. And then hopefully we'll get us somebody that has a grocery store, maybe like a Publix buyer that comes in and be like, oh, I love you pick flowers and your mushrooms. Let's take them in. That's a good question. So the value add products is we have, it's a challenge in a sense of mushrooms are very expensive, especially if you dehydrate them and dry them, putting them in a 100% product. So I'll give you an example with that. We got a call from a compost company. They wanted to buy our compost. Our compost is 100% all mushroom. And they're like, we need to figure out what percentage of your mushroom compost can go into our mushroom compost to be certified OMRI. It's like organic. So it's not 100%, so they'll put fillers in. So if you do true value add products, you hope that there's an audience that will pay for that. So we're just trying to decide, like, is everything 100% mushroom based in those value add products? We do coffees right now, we do dried, we do tinctures, but we have some ideas with our hazelnut trees and those things. So it's going to be a tough mix. So we're working to see what the customers will buy. We tried some freeze drying, but it was way too expensive for the power and the equipment, unless we can find that another way to do it. We're working on different drinks. We have a whiskey being made, so we're all over the place. We're a little ADD with our value add product. Yes, sir? We're producing a few thousand yards, and that's just straight mushroom compost that we turn. We have an option with one of the local drink companies, Arden's Gardens, to get all their waste, but then we have to figure out how that mixes in and the food safety of getting it from their place to our place and without contamination. So right now, without that, we're a few 4,000 yards or more. That's going to grow as we sell more mushrooms, so we have more waste. We just got a grant for a new compost facility, so we don't have a ramp yet. We're about to, and one of the things on our wish list is a compost bagger, a mobile bagger. Right now we sell in buckets, which is not really affordable because you have to pay for the bucket. So once we get the bagging machine, then we'll be able to do that. But right now we do dump trucks and stuff like that. Bulk, we could do bulk or bags, which we're working on. Yes, sir? Oh yeah, a lot of them. So I have a team in Atlanta that we deliver personally to about 55 restaurants. And then we don't know, like say with What Chefs Wants, we don't know where they go to. So I'd say right now our retail is probably 30%, wholesale is probably 70. And then if we break down from the grocery stores to distributors, it's probably like another 30, 40 breakdown. We're just happy to sell them wherever. But retail is a lot harder because you have to go door to door and it costs more time and all those things. Wholesale is great because we either get them to come pick up or we'll drop it off to them. And that's 1,000 pounds at a time, which is really what we need to do is we need to get to like 10,000 pounds per week. Yes, sir? Our odor smells pretty amazing. People say we smell good dirty. It's not over pungent. The way we grow it, we don't use any animal products. Everything is all, our mushroom logs are hardwood sawdust with the mycelium mixed in. So the only thing that's ever smelled is anything that's cleaned up off the floor into our dump trailer, and we usually take that to an area where they can't go, but the area doesn't smell at all. You'd be surprised. Yes, ma'am? We work with a lot of the our neighbors, the vineyards. We have a sheep farm near us, so we don't need the whole pie, so we want to share it. So we'd love to refer of other agritourism places, and we get referrals as well. We also have a lot of local foods, so we really try to, at our farm store, we really try to highlight unique, smaller craft pottery that's different, and we'd love to give people an opportunity to shine and have a place to sell, and somewhere where they might not to be. And we have stuff that nobody else has, which is, I think when you go into a farm store, most places have a lot of the repeat of everybody else, and we really try to be way different than that, and we focus and curate that with our team to make it an experience. If I'm gonna go out 10 minutes out of my way, I wanna be wowed. I want to spend my time and make it worth it, because that's all we have is time, and I think it's important that it's special. One more? I wish. We text. Chefs are, yeah, so a lot of it is email, because everybody uses different systems. With our chefs, we text on a Wednesday, we deliver on a Thursday for most of them. but within Atlanta, we'll do it. We deliver 4 days a week to different places. Our truck goes to Atlanta, like Whole Foods, and down to the State Farmers Market twice a week. When we deliver on Monday and Thursday. Those are our big delivery days, and then retail could be pretty much any day. We'll get emergency calls that somebody needs mushrooms for a main dish. We'll do different mushroom events all over the place. So we've done stuff with Chef Terry Koval in the Highlands, which has been great. So we're always looking for new fun adventures to highlight the chef and our mushrooms. Anything else? If you need to contact us, you can hit the email button or follow us on Instagram and see how cool our farm store and team is. Thank you.
Good morning. I have a very pretty slideshow that I did not make, so hopefully we'll get that up in a minute, at least be a little bit of a visual aid. I really don't know a whole lot about online sales, so I guess they were a little desperate for speakers. The good news is, as far as fruit and vegetables, I also know nothing about. But I do know a little bit about beef, and I do know a little bit about farming. I run Highbrow Beef out of Newberry. We are an online retailer of beef, and we just moved into pork as well. We grow everything on the farm. I also have some poultry houses in South Carolina. I have a South Pole cattle herd where I do some purebred sales. Got a tiny little consulting business where I specialize in regenerative agriculture, helping most of the people that are just getting into cattle farming to establish their farms. Also president of the South Carolina Association of Conservation Districts. Somewhat busy, and all this will come into play as I tell you why I made the decisions I made with Highbrow as we get moving. I'm a third-generation farmer. Family's been farming in Newberry, small town, close to the middle of South Carolina, since the 1930s. I got a wife and 2 kids. My wife has nothing to do with the farm other than good counsel, but she has a career elsewhere, thank goodness, because that's how we pay the bills. So my question, I guess what I was asked to talk about is, first of all, why sell it all? I know as fruit and vegetable growers, y'all see kind of the same things that I do. There's lots of different ways to move your product. I know a lot of people do wholesale. For the cattle people like me, livestock markets are kind of your traditional thing. Anybody anywhere can take a cow to the local livestock market, sell it at auction, and keep their fingers crossed and hope for the best. And that's okay. That's what most people do. If you got a lot of cows, you can sell truckload lots of light cattle. For me, after doing the truckload thing for many, many years with my family, I didn't like the lack of control over the market. I'm sure this is something that y'all have seen too. And so I wanted a little more control over what I got paid for my cattle, what I got paid for my beef, because we used what I felt were like good bulls. We used good genetics, things that I thought we were creating an above average product. How did I know we were creating above average product? I didn't, because I never got to see the beef. Just like everybody else, I bought my beef at the grocery store. We had lost all of our local processors over the years. When I was young, we used to have that. They went out of business, and so it was really hard to find somewhere to even butcher a cow. So here I am on a farm with hundreds of cows, and I bought my beef at the grocery store. Hurt my soul a little bit, and so I said, you know what, I'm going to start growing my own. And as this train tends to go, thank you. Let me just hit this little button. Okay, thank you. Let's see, where was I? As that train goes, when you start growing for yourself, inevitably you want to start growing for other people. And so I decided to start small, and that is how it started. Got our first cows back, the first ones we did. I said, these are ready and they're looking good, and we got them, and they did not taste good. So good start, strong start. But we worked, and we kept going. We realized some of our errors, and I think now we've got them fixed, and we're in pretty good shape. I did mean to say, if at any time, as you probably noticed, I'm a pretty informal speaker. If you got a question, raise your hand, holler at me, interrupt. You're not going to bother me at all. I would prefer it and kind of help fill my 30 minutes up. So why sell online? If you're in this room, you're probably kind of maybe have dabbled, maybe thinking about it. So why sell online? First, low labor. You don't need a whole lot of labor to sell on time. You need somebody that knows a little bit about technology. That is not me. But it's fairly low labor. When you're running a market stand or a store or something like that, you got to have somebody there all the time. We do not have somebody there all the time. The customer service goes to my cell phone. It goes to my manager's cell phone. We're a two-man team. That's it. That's the whole thing. And we're running all the operations I just told you about. Highbrow takes up a day and a half every week of what we do. Put that in context, we fulfilled about 1,200 orders last year, 2 men. Low overhead. My website, I don't know, it probably cost me about $2,500 a year. That is far cheaper than building a farm stand, than running a store. I have electricity for my freezers, of course. That's kind of an unavoidable cost no matter how you do it. But my overhead is pretty low overall. In contradiction to that, my reach. If you run a farm store or something like that, your reach is basically your local community, maybe 45 minutes down the road. My reach is roughly 120 million people. That is the distance that I can easily ship to with UPS on a 2-day ground zone, and that is my potential market share. Now, of course, I'm not going to hit all those 120 million people. That would be nice, but I'd be sold out in about 2 hours. But it is a very large reach compared to just about any other way you can sell. I target a premium market. I like to say that my stuff is better than average, and therefore I'm selling it at an above average price compared to the grocery store. I'm pretty in line with most other people that sell online, maybe even cheaper than several of them. But I am targeting a premium market share. If you are doing small scale stuff, you know that selling in bulk is far different than selling in a niche market like this. Usually your prices have to be a little higher, and mine are. Automation, that's another big thing. I let the website do a lot of work for me, which is great because A, I don't know how to do it, and B, I don't have to worry about it. That goes back to that low labor thing. Online, we can control the story. My farm is not all that pretty. We don't keep the grass mowed all the time. We have some weeds in the pastures. Cows poop everywhere. Customers don't typically see that. They see what we want them to see. We take the pretty pictures in good weather. They don't have to see when the hurricane comes through. They don't see trees on fences. They don't see everything being dirty. We control the narrative, and we show them the good sides of the farm. I'm not trying to hide anything, but they just don't need to see all the dirty stuff. That's our job to handle. The data and records that we get from our website, really, really helpful. All that's automatic. All I do is click on buttons and change the parameters. It's easy to do. Convenience for the customer. When a customer does not have to get in their car, drive to your store, when they can just pull up their cell phone while they're hanging out, doing whatever. It's a convenient way to purchase. I know everybody in here has purchased something online. It is very easy. It expands your selection. We try to take advantage of that. In our particular thing, we do still have some local market access. We offer a once-a-week on-farm pickup with a discount for the customer since we're not having to worry about shipping. So we do have some local access, but the big thing for us is most of our population centers are, oh man, you're gonna make me do this whole thing by myself. They're in the city, and where are most farms? Thank you, Chalmers. I don't have a hat to give you, but they're in the country, and so as long as UPS will ship to them, we have access. If you have a farm stand, the chances are good it is in the country. There aren't too many places to put a farm stand in the city. We don't have to worry about that. Most of our customers are in the city. Good question. We've done both. We use gel packs. Gel packs most of the year work just fine for us. In the summer, it's a little sketchy. I'm stressed all the time shipping in the summer, but we don't do enough volume to where dry ice, it's insanely expensive for us. I want to say we're spending like 5 times the amount on keeping the box cool when we were using dry ice. Dry ice is the way to go. One day if we get big enough, I want to use nothing but dry ice. The big companies, that's what they do. We're not there yet. Gel packs are doing fine, and if I got to have it, I'll just put extra gel packs in the box. It costs me 50 cents a gel pack. We use it's a cardboard box with a liner inside of it. We have one that's recycled cotton. like blue jean material, something like that, wrapped in a thin layer of recyclable plastic. We have another that's all a paper liner, and I'm pretty sure there's a picture of that in here. As long as you have a pretty good liner, you're in pretty good shape. On the online sales, we have pre-orders, wait lists, subscriptions, all that kind of stuff too. If you're doing all that manually in person, you have to keep a lot of records. You have to write a lot of stuff down. I don't write anything down. The computer does it for me. Downsides. I made selling online sound awesome, haven't I? Well, it's not all the time. Shipping and fulfillment. When I first got into it, I was like, I'm going to be a farmer that moves my product online. I am not. When I dropped that cow off at the butcher, I'm no longer a farmer at that point. I didn't realize that until I got into it. Then I am a retail business owner, and my training is not in retail business owning. Learning curve, fun learning curve, but that is an entirely different side of the business. If you want to go that way, just be aware. You're not going to be a farmer once that product comes out of the field. Customer service. I love my customers, and luckily I have a very good base of customers. I don't get a lot of complaints. My online reviews look great, all this kind of stuff. But customers are picky, and they really like attention. And that's fine. You just got to be aware that you're going to get a lot of phone calls at weird times of the night. People think you're open at 9 p.m. on a Saturday, like it ain't no thing. Emails, texts. It is just part of the game. At some point, I hope to have somebody that can do some customer service for me, so I'm not pulling out my phone while I'm trying to tag a calf or something and take a call. You really don't want to miss those calls. But customer service is an ongoing thing. It never takes a break. We don't have a local presence very much. I said that as a positive a minute ago, but it's a negative too. You can build trust within your own community. You have kind of a dedicated fan base, if you will, inside your own community. We kind of have that, but not nearly as much as somebody who, I mean, we have some vegetable farmers where I'm from. They are loved in the community, local presence. We don't have that because we don't have somewhere people can visit our farm. We don't have an agritourism component. We don't have a store. Storage is always a problem. Besides storing beef, the obvious problem, we got to store a boatload of cardboard boxes. Thermal liners take up an insane amount of space. We have pallets of gel packs laying around. It takes a lot of space to keep all the materials you need. And year-round concerns with demand. That's with any business, but like Christmas, we got to really stock up on beef beforehand. We have a little bit of the same concern that fruit and vegetable would have, where certain times of the year you don't have certain products. Outside of greenhouses, grow houses, whatever. Forgive me if I'm not being very smart here, but like tomatoes probably don't grow too much in December. We don't grow grass in December, and therefore we can't finish grass-fed cows. And so we run out of that particular beef every winter. We'll run out of it soon now. And the big thing, we have to build trust. Trust is a big thing for us. It's going to be a big thing for anybody selling food, because this is one of the few products we are asking our customers to put inside their body. So trust is a huge thing, how we raise things. You know, if customers don't care, they're usually going to go to the grocery store anyway, so they're not your ideal customer. So you don't have to worry so much about that. Oh, I was supposed to switch slides a while ago. I did want to say, oh no, I'm good. Building relationships is a big part of what we do. I mentioned customer service. I go out of my way to respond to customers quickly, to answer the phone, to answer emails. And I get a lot of compliments. Oh, thank you for your quick response. I just feel guilty if I don't get back to them quickly. But building that relationship, building that trust, and displaying some knowledge about your product has gone a long way for us. If we do make a mistake, which we do, we're quick to correct it. People have been patient with us overall. And I think it shows if you were to go online, on like Google reviews, we have one star review in our 3.5 years. I think we're up to about 125 5-star reviews. We have 1 4-star from a guy that couldn't find the farm. I don't count that. That goes back to building relationships, building trust, and that is something you have to do for selling food. So to get, let's see, touch points. Every touch point matters. For online especially, because you are not there talking to the customer, you're not necessarily there putting a face right beside your product. You have to do it virtually. So this is our kind of our touch point. Our first touch point is marketing. When they find us, however that may be, maybe it's a Google search, maybe social media, however, maybe word of mouth. I can tell you most of what we get comes in on Google. I don't know if that's unique to us or not. We have tried some Facebook marketing. It has not worked out very well for us as far as the paid marketing. We do post on social media and stuff like that. But for us, the Google, where we've actually put some money in Google, has been the best for us. But I've heard other people say that's not true for them. But when they see those ads on any kind of thing, it is the same voice, the same colors, the same font. We keep that. When you go to our website, same thing. And I think I have a website picture somewhere. Emails. We send out 2-3 emails a month. Emails are a great marketing tool, and they are very, very cheap to do. We do newsletters. We do announcements of things that the customer might not even care about, but at least we get an email in their inbox. Every one of those, just as you can see on this little presentation, top right corner, the little highbrow logo head, every slide. We do that on everything we do. We always have a very consistent, very obvious branding. And so kind of looking through these things, that first thing you see is our shipping box you were asking about earlier, regular cardboard box, printed. The printing does add some costs. We started out with just blank boxes and then moved to a printed box. The cow you see there next to it with the awesome mustache, that's hashtag Gent Cow. He is our unofficial mascot. And so you'll see he has a really cool mustache. That cow belongs on our 40-month live-aged beef, harvested at 40 months of age. If you know a whole lot about beef, that's unusually old, very hard to find in the United States, preferred in countries like Europe, but it's considered a bad thing here. I will show you. This is our premium Angus Gent Cow. You'll notice he's got a gold monocle. He's got a nice little lapel pin. He's got the little gold scarf around his neck. Gent cows on every piece of beef we sell in some form. You'll see on that package of beef there, that is our Wagyu Gent Cow. He's smoking an Asian-style pipe. He's got on a little kimono with grass on it because he is a 100% grass-fed animal. He's also got traditional Wagyu horns, whereas you'll notice none of the other cows have horns. That was on purpose because we don't grow horned cows other than our Wagyu, which are genetically, naturally horned. That card right there in the middle, we call that our breed card. Goes in every single order. Same colors, same font. That is a custom font that was developed for us. We check off on those boxes there on the right, whether your animal is finished on grass, on grain. We advertise that we can trace exactly which animal you're getting from, what that animal ate, how old it was at harvest, what breed it was, what breed percentages. Most customers don't want to get that kind of level of detail. We offer it anyway because it makes us look trustworthy. It lets people know that we really, really know our product, that we are passionate about it, and we are. That's just a way to let the customer know that that's what we feel about it. On there on the right, I'll get to this later, but we have that on some more public-facing things. We have where you can get frozen beef out of a vending machine. I'll bring that up more later. We keep those on the front of the vending machine. Problem with the vending machine, meat has to be frozen. Somebody comes to a vending machine, they probably want to eat that steak right then. So therefore the challenge is, how do you get that steak from frozen in a vending machine to in the frying pan or on the grill? We beat that challenge, we hope, by putting a little informational free card where they can grab it, get their beef and go. Clear branding, consistent voice, education. Every single touch point we do to the point it is obnoxious for us. Customers don't seem to think it's obnoxious. It seems to stay with them. That breed card is meant to go on the freezer so they won't forget what they got. It's also meant to remind them it might be time for some more highbrow beef. Next time they go in the freezer and they see it's about empty. I mentioned the website. There it is. On a website, I know this is kind of part of what I was supposed to talk on. Simple and clean, not busy. You can put information, and I love information. The people that do my marketing do not like working with me because I will come in there and be like, here is my essay on why we should grow cows like this. And they're like, this is great. This is beautiful. We're going to put it in 2 sentences. Fine. I'll just let them do it, and they know what they're doing. But every page should have a shop link. That's why the website's there, folks. You want to drive people to your product. So every page has some way they can get to the shop section. Once they're on the shop section, they can exit, they can go read a blog, they can do whatever, but shop is the focus of the website. If nothing else, if you're starting a website, you're trying to figure out what to put on it, shop. That's all you really got to have to get started. Customers can't buy your product, you can't afford to have a website. Make it easy to navigate. I do use a marketing firm to do most of my stuff. It is not necessary. I'll touch on that in a minute. As long as it is easy, you've probably all been on a lot of websites. 5, 6 menus at the most. Once you get on there, if they want to delve deeper, fine, go for it. But that main page needs to be simple. You see here the desktop. You see the mobile version. Mobile version is more important. You got to make sure you check both, but most shopping these days is done on mobile phones. My website you see there is built on Wix. Wix is an Israeli company. My marketing firm uses it. The reason they use it, because it is highly customizable. They need to customize a lot of stuff and do a good job. I do not, because I don't know anything about websites. That's why I let somebody else do it. If I was going to do my own website, which I believe is possible for the vast majority of people, I would use Shopify. If you want to write anything down, you say, I want a website, Shopify is your thing. It's easy to use. Anybody can do it. I needed something a little more complicated, and therefore I am with Wix. Building a website, luckily I didn't do it. Takes a long time. The good thing about a website is once it's built, it's pretty well set it and forget it. I don't really have to do much with the website at all. Changes are very rare. Every now and then we'll find a problem. In fact, we completely rebuilt our website about 8 months ago, started from scratch. Worked a lot of bugs out over the first 3 months, but now we don't get any complaints on the website. It kind of does its thing and we don't have to worry about it. And that is one of the good things about a website. You don't have to sweep a website. There's no mopping of a website. You don't have to wipe down the windows. The website pretty well does its thing. Shipping. We were talking about shipping a minute ago. Has to be not stressful for the customers. It will be stressful for you. Shipping is a pain. That is the thing. That was by far the hardest hurdle for me to overcome. Shipping is something I was not familiar with. It is a totally different ball game from anything else I've done. But once you kind of figure it out, it's not that bad. We figured out the boxes, a liner. The good thing for y'all is that you don't have to worry about keeping things hard frozen. We do. That is our biggest challenge, is the thermal barrier, keeping our meat cold. It is perfectly safe, according to the USDA, to eat beef that is 40 degrees or lower. At 40 degrees, beef is fully thawed. I take that piece of beef and take it out of the package. I say, I am good to go. It looks delicious. The average customer does not. They see a thawed piece of beef and they say, this is unsafe, even if it's 35 degrees, just like a refrigerator. We have to do some education. We have that on our cards, but the best way to prevent problems like that is just to keep the daggone beef frozen the whole time. It's just really hard in August. Now, the bad part for y'all is once that beef's frozen, I can't really bruise it. Can't really hurt it. For fruit and vegetables, that is a problem y'all would have. So y'all would need a very sturdy box, padding, I'm sure, maybe some way. Kent McLeod's one of our people in South Carolina. He's got like some foam things he puts his peaches in. Can't really speak too much to that, but that will be a challenge for y'all. We keep the customers up to date. We send an email when the box is shipped. We send an email when the box arrives. All that is automated. I don't have to send those emails myself. I use ShipStation for my shipping. It is relatively cheap, relatively easy. It probably took me 4 hours to set ShipStation up. From then, I've sent thousands upon thousands of emails out of ShipStation without ever knowing that the email went out. If you're going to ship to, there are a lot of services out there. Third-party shippers work with big companies. That is a good option. Another option is simply to get you a corporate account with UPS, FedEx, whoever you want to use. I personally use UPS and have had better luck with them. I'll kind of speed through this. Define your vision. For me, it was good beef and bold. The best way to sell beef, in my opinion, is a green and frilly pastoral type view. So what up here is green and frilly? Not a thing. Just because it's the best way doesn't mean it's the only way. I'm not targeting those customers because every beef seller is targeting those customers. I wanted something that reflected my personality a little bit more, something I could really get behind and be passionate about. My target is people that are really after a good steak. That's how I started. That is still our number one priority. I will say over the years we have realized that our number two group of customers are health conscious, and so we do target them more now, but we have not changed our branding strategy. My customers are the smokers of the world, the brisket guys, the steak lovers. Like I said, the health conscious came more later, and we have leaned into that. We had Clemson University test our beef, crazy high fatty acid profile, very good, and we do target that. We have some science to say that, yes, our beef is actually better. Here are the numbers to prove it. If you can come up with something like that, that is a big seller. That's our number one read blog on the internet by thousands upon thousands of views. I mentioned that I pay a marketing firm. You do not have to pay a marketing firm. I do think a branding package is good money spent. In general, I think a marketing firm is good money spent. But my marketing firm is relatively cheap. They are local. I have all of their cell phone numbers. For me, it works mainly because of my time constraints, because I'm doing other businesses. If I didn't have those, I wouldn't use a marketing firm. So, first things first, let's see. Consistency is the big thing in marketing. I've talked about it with the branding image, always the same. But we keep doing social media posts, even if it's nothing important. It is much better. Here at the bottom it says it, and we live by this: simple content beats perfect content. I would rather just slap up a picture of the farm or a cow grazing. If there's no caption whatsoever, no hashtags, no nothing, that is much better than nothing at all. You see on the right there, that's our Instagram feed, and that's some Christmas cards we did to put in gift orders. Let's see, our vending machine. People love this thing. As far as a profitability center, this thing makes no money. I mean, it might make like $200 a month. But it drives a ton of viewer traffic, interest. People just think it's amazing when we do a social media post about it. It's the only thing we have ever goes viral. If nothing else, it helps to bring customers in. About 6 months ago, I had somebody ordered a half a cow. So that's a profitability thing for us. And I always try to ask, how'd you hear about us? I said, well, we got 2 steaks out of your vending machine. They were great, so we bought a half a cow. $40 sale turned into a $2,800 sale. That's what the vending machine's for, but people love the vending machine. Kind of speeding along because I was thinking there might be a couple questions, but that's about it. One of my main things I like to do is steal what works. Do not be afraid to go on competitors' websites, see what's working for them, see what you might like, steal it. I do that all the time and kind of change it to where it fits my business. So with that, questions? You were first. One vending machine, we bought it about a year ago. Thing's about $10,000 a pop. So we've kind of been on the fence about another one because if it's something that doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of money, you're kind of like, you know. I think we probably will get some more. In fact, I'm looking into a grant to maybe buy a couple more. It was at a bar for a long time, a craft beer bar. Did pretty well there. It's back at the farm now. It's actually done even better there. So if I got another one, I'd still probably the one I got at the farm and then try to expand to a local larger city for us would be like Columbia or Greenville, South Carolina. Somebody over here. Yes, things have gotten better over the last several years. COVID was the big catalyst and starting to bring more up. If I wanted beef just for me, I could find that within 20, 30 minutes now. We go to North Carolina to get ours processed, about an hour and a half down the road. That's the only place close to it. We have to be USDA inspected facility. I think there's only 4 of those in South Carolina. The one closest to us uses an inferior packaging. I was having a lot of freezer burn problems, so I switched this place to North Carolina, 30 minutes further away. Much better product. What else? I saw a free seminar, I believe it was Seven Sons Farm, and that's one I go steal a lot of their content from. They had a little free thing. I don't know how they make money off of it, not my problem. They recommended a few box sizes. They said if you're going to start, go 14 by 14 by 14. They were right. That's a good box size. As we expanded, we have moved to a 12-inch box and a 16-inch box. That just kind of came from experience, but the 14 was a good start. Be honest, small quantity, experiment a little bit, figure out what works. I think I get my boxes from All Boxes, ALL Boxes. There's a lot of people out there that sell boxes. Good thing about boxes, it is not hard to find a box supplier, not hard to find a liner supplier, not hard to find a gel pack supplier. They are out there. Emily Revolutionary Marketing, ERM Group in Newberry. Tell them I sent you. Thank you. Scanned the thing. Love to have you buy some beef. Help me with my trip to Savannah. But I appreciate your time.
Okay, this next one is loading, but I can go ahead and introduce you to our speakers. So I think something that we're all interested in is not just selling direct to consumer on our farm, but selling to restaurants as well, because a lot of times we can potentially get a better price and a more consistent audience that way. So I have two sides of this. Oh, good. All right. So we have Howard back with us that you heard this morning, so he can share his experience in selling, but also getting to hear from Anna, who works with What Chefs Want, who has worked with so many different chefs across the state, and I would guess even further. So two wonderful resources, and I'll pass it over.
Good morning. So we're here to have a conversation today. So I'm going to get started and talk a little bit about our work, about chefs in general, and then I'm going to do a little bit of interviewing. He's going to do a little bit of interviewing back, and so we'll make this pretty informal. I do want to say that I've got time after this, and so one thing Kelly suggested is that if anyone has more questions, you're welcome to stay around. I don't think somebody's using this room because it's lunchtime pretty soon. So please ignore the main message and the explanation here. Apparently I prepared everything else and forgot to go back to the main slide. But my name is Anna Haas. I am here. I'm the National Director of the local program for What Chefs Want, and I'll show you what that means in just a minute. I'm here because our company works with 23,000 customer locations. So I hope that among the 10 years I've been doing this and all of those different types of chefs, I hope I can help give you a couple of nuggets of information. I actually spent yesterday out in the Hilton Head Market in Bluffton, South Carolina, working with some of our sales team members and selling to chefs just yesterday, and I'll be doing that again this afternoon some. So I was able to think about you all and some of the things that I was working on yesterday to be able to bring some of those tips out. As you'll see here, What Chefs Want has a good spread across the country with warehouses. We are in Georgia, we are in North Carolina, South Carolina. Florida has now expanded. We're in Tennessee, we're in Alabama as well. We've got 400 distribution trucks, and most markets have about 25 trucks out a day. You may see our red trucks if you're out and about in one of these cities during the day. One of the things I wanted to start with is you all, though, and to talk a little bit about why one would work with chefs when in your stages of development as a farm or as a food business that you might want to work with chefs. And so there's really 6 of them. And you'll see if you can find yourself here and also maybe know what's ahead if you want to keep growing off of that. So just real quick, first of all, I think everybody grows and makes food because they enjoy it for themselves. Their friends and family have said that it's really good. A lot of times then you're going out to your local community and your friends and family and yourself have loved this, and so you're excited to share it. Both of those steps are really good because you start getting feedback. A lot of times people don't start selling to chefs until they've done both of those steps. And that second step of sharing with your community could look like a farm stand, it could look like a farmer's market, it could look like selling to an online store. One in some of these areas is called Market Wagon. But what's really great about that is that if you're there at a farmer's market, you're going to see which of your tomatoes keeps getting picked up, what sizes keep getting picked up, et cetera. So it's kind of like you're getting market feedback already, even if it's not from an actual chef. At that point, once you've known what you can grow consistently, once you've done it for a little while, I'd say that you're ready to start exploring with chefs. And when we talk about chefs, I'll step back just for a second. I want to acknowledge here that those of you who are going out to sell to chefs in your community, some of that's going to be in more rural areas. Some of it's going to be a little bit of a mix of suburban and rural. Some of it's going to be in a city of different sizes. And so if you've met one chef, you've met one chef, kind of like you've met one farmer. So we're going to give you some rules in general, but we want to make sure that this applies not just to city chefs. We want to make sure that it applies to places everywhere. So some of these tricks are not that different from working with mom and pop groceries or otherwise. So just kind of keep that in mind too. Just looking ahead, so once you master this chef interchange, once you get really good at this and you're growing, things that other people start doing afterwards is you start actually working with local food hubs who do the chef selling for you. You might start working with a place like us that's a little bit smaller and works with smaller farms but gets it into distribution. Or you might start working with a bigger distributor after that too. So the sky is really the limit if you want to go that far. But if you don't want to go that far, it's easy to just work with a couple of restaurants or others in your area. I think just because of time, and I'm going to stop here on the market development, and I'll probably go back and just have. Okay, we'll leave it here. One more. There we go. So I'm going to turn it over to Howard.
Can you hear me without the microphone?
I think they're recording it. So let me hand it over.
We can do it together.
Okay, so again, I'll tell a couple of things that I'm used to in working about chefs, but I want to say if you weren't here for Howard's earlier, he'll explain himself. But I was excited because you were saying that you're now selling to 55 chefs in one city alone. So you've got a person who's very experienced with this, but coming from the farm level.
Thank you, and I'm Howard Burke with LJ Mushrooms. We're in North Georgia. We grow about 6,000 pounds of different types of mushrooms a week. And we do sell to what chefs want. And we started off by just going to the farmer's market to figure out if we had an audience before we invested all this money and not have anywhere to sell it. That's the key, is to figure out, does your product have a home no matter what you have? And how far is that home away from your home? And then do you have a way to get it there? And then with all these things, and I'll kind of go at a quick high level and then we'll get a little bit more into it, is like, do you have the certifications that you need for a different distributor? Restaurants sometimes don't need that. So I know when we have to sell to the distributors, we need GAP certification or Primus certification. There's a lot of more details in that, and we could go over that at the end, or you could come up to me and see that. But we started off just going to our local restaurants and building a relationship with the chef. And our main goal at that time was to get our name on the menu so people knew where the farm was and where the food's coming from. And then as that progressed and we got a bigger audience, and we started to figure out, how do we get into a distributor and what does that look like?
Okay. So again, we'll probably talk a little bit more about that part, the distribution part at the end. But it's kind of neat that the two of us get to talk together, because not only do we have different perspectives, but we actually have a business relationship through our buyer, John Streley, who's here and halfway through the room. So I wanted to start just drawing from the last presentation from anyone who saw it. There was a line that went across the bottom and it said, "If it's stressful, customers will not reorder." And so I was sitting there and thinking that that is the perfect thing to start with to say about chefs. If a chef is feeling stressed by working with a farmer and working with a farmer directly, or even working with a distribution company, they are not going to reorder. They, like many of us, are really busy people, but there's some certain things about the kitchen and how things work in a kitchen that is going to make potentially a chef a little bit more prone to stress. And so I've got, again, some tips that I'll add, but would you mind talking about that for a minute, Howard?
I think that is one of the most important things, is the relationship you have with your chefs. Each chef is different. Some like texting, some like talking, some don't want to be at all involved. They go to the sous chef. So for us, we have to be consistent, we have to have the quality, and we have to be on time. If your product is something that you're very proud of, the chefs are going to feel proud of it as well, and they're going to try to feature it. But when they feature it, you better have that product they're ordering on the day they want it, at the time they want it. So you usually have to get your product in the morning before prep starts. So it's very important to have that relationship, ask the questions, when do you want delivery? How do you want it delivered? And that quality better be there. Because for them, if your product comes to them and it's going to go to bad in a day or two, it's a waste of money, and margins are so tight. So you always have to bring the freshest, best quality at the right time.
And so that timing is super important. One thing that I watched a sales team member from our company do yesterday with working with chefs is to take careful notes and keep records about each customer. So if you're the kind of person who keeps a Rolodex about people in your head and you remember everything, that's fine. But many of us may not remember that this chef arrives at 10 a.m. in the morning versus this chef is a breakfast place and arrives at 5 a.m. and leaves at 2 and doesn't necessarily want to talk to you after 2 p.m. So the timing is super important. Timing for most chefs who do dinner service is going to be on the slightly later side of the morning. You do not want to wake them up at 6 a.m. texting them after they've been up with dinner service until 2 a.m. But again, if it's a breakfast place, you don't want to be texting that person or emailing, well, email's fine, calling that person at 9 p.m. at night if they're starting their day making breakfast at 3 a.m., right? So keeping records of each place, knowing when they're open, knowing when they want to receive delivery, where that is. If somebody else is doing your delivery for you from your business, making sure you know who the various people are, where they want you to put it, etc. So keeping records, keeping in mind, again, that one chef is one chef. Yeah.
We found out the hard way with 2 restaurants in Atlanta, Holman and Finch and Mission and Market. They had 2 big holiday orders, and we came late, and we had to eat it. We missed the window because we didn't communicate properly on when it was, and we thought we were going to be able to make it, and we came after service, and they were like, don't bother us, and we were like, oh, crap.
So, and that's exactly, you don't want that to happen. You've done everything right, you got the sale, you filled it out, but you missed one important step along the way. I feel like I skipped a step, or we skipped a step based on what I realized yesterday in my meetings with chefs. And that is that I went into the first one feeling a little bit rusty. I direct a program, so I'm not necessarily out with chefs these days, though I used to be. And so I came in and I started talking about us first. I started talking about what we would have. I started talking about la, 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 la. And then I watched a vendor who was with us who does sales. And I watched, there was nothing about what he was selling. Instead, he started and he asked about them. And so after that, I started not saying a single thing about what I was there to do. I just started and I started saying, you know, in my needs, I needed to talk about a whole local program. So, hey, is local important to you? Is local important to your customers? Is that something that you're doing now? Have you done it in the past? You know, and I knew so much better what to say about what would meet their needs and they'd be interested in and want to buy because I'd heard it from them first. I didn't waste their time because I wasn't talking about things they didn't need to know. So that is one thing that I would say in these meetings too. You'll get to the delivery window, you'll get to who to talk to, all the things that we talked about, but first get to know them a little bit more. Even step, and you want to say anything about that?
One of our big wins was with a restaurant group in Atlanta called Marlowe's Tavern, and their head chef, Chef Ben, he is very particular, and we got very lucky that we dropped off samples. So when we try to get a new restaurant, we go in there on the proper time, usually after lunch and before the main service, and we'll bring in samples. Key is to get to the chefs, try to bypass the front of the house because they usually lose it. And they put our mushrooms in the refrigerator. They forgot about it. It was really sad. A week and a half later, he finds it in the back of the refrigerator, comes out, cuts it up, and he's like, wow, these things are still fresh. We got the big account. They can't have waste. So fresh and have stuff that has like great shelf life is the key to getting into these restaurants.
Let me just pause for a second because we'll go in a couple more directions. But any questions so far? Anything that's helpful so far, just so we can give you more of that versus something else? Okay, so let's keep doing that if that works. So one of the other things that we wanted to make sure to cover. So you're hearing a little bit about what it's like to work with them, how to talk to them, et cetera. How do you even know which chefs to go to and which not? I guess I'll just ask for a second, how many of you are currently selling to chefs? Couple? And how many of you plan to or would like to, but have not done it yet? Okay, so a couple as well. So maybe I'll ask you all. What would you say that, how did you know which chefs to approach if you're already doing this? That's not a bad example. It's actually a good example of something that will clarify from that. So just for the recording and just to summarize a little bit, what we heard here is yes, I work with chefs. However, I do it in the way that works for me. I set up the way that it works because I know that I can fulfill it. I know I can keep my business healthy, and I'm not going to go and try doing whatever they want. And so it just so happens that you're only selling if they come to you at the farmer's market, something you're doing already. Other people may decide to go and do deliveries, and that's kind of what we're talking a little bit more about. But even at that point, you need to have your program set up front as you're starting to define your chef list, as you're starting to define what you are going to be offering them. You need to know things like, what days are you going to deliver where? So if you walk into one of these meetings and don't have the setup that works for you ready, then you're going to walk into the first meeting and hear when somebody wants something. If you leave it open-ended, you're going to walk into the second meeting and the place next door is going to want it 3 days later. And you're going to find that had you just decided that ahead of time, you could have put those two places together on the same route. So do define what it is that works for you. And I think that's a really, you're not doing that. You're not selling to chefs in a bad way. You're selling in a really smart way. And you've decided what it is that works for you. You also brought up McDonald's, and that's something that I just wanted to say as you define your chef list. So the chefs that will buy direct from a farmer, and those, I think, unless you're ready to work with a distributor in this room, the ones that buy direct from a farmer are the ones that make the decisions about their kitchen within that very building and with the people that you're going to be able to talk to. So no, you are not going to go up to a McDonald's restaurant and try to sell your food to them. You're not going to go up to a First Watch restaurant, if you know that breakfast chain, because those purchasing decisions, because they're chains, get made way far away. If there's even a restaurant group that is independently owned, but they've got 6 locations, that may not be the best one for you to start with either, because it's probably not going to be the first person you walk in and talk to. And so you may want to start small. You may want to start with a local location, see who else is buying from farms, not to steal from, see what chefs are buying from farms already, not to steal from somebody else's business, but you'll know that they work pretty well with farmers too. I want to just, I think you raised your hand too? Yep. So again, for the recording, and I'll hand it over to you just in a second too. So having a chef on your team, or having a chef in your friend group, or asking your friend and church and acquaintance group who knows a chef, get to know a friendly chef and understand a little bit more about this from their perspective ahead of time too, is kind of what I'm hearing. You just happen to be so lucky to have a retired chef on your staff. Maybe not everyone will have that. I'll hand it over.
I'll add a few things to that. Great advice of, it's not worth your time for one head of lettuce. And we put minimums in, and what we also try to do is try to do restaurants in the area at a certain time. So our drive time goes to one area of town in Atlanta or LJ or wherever it is, so that we can maximize our time, our sales, all those things in one area. So we have a good minimum. The second thing is also figure out, all chefs and restaurants like to pay at different times. Keep track of your invoices. We do it on little invoice books. Each place is different. There's no quick book really for a restaurant. Once you sell it that day, log it. Otherwise, it's going to get lost in the shuffle. And the third thing is grow something different. There's a lot of people that grow squash. So try to diversify a little bit. You can maybe have some squash in there, but also add some different things, or go ask the chefs in your area that you want to sell to, what are they looking for? What don't they have access to? And see if that's something you can grow.
Another tip along those lines is read their menus. So come in prepared, having read their menu. Figure out if there seems to be a special. Look them up on Facebook, look them up on Instagram, whatever it is that you use. See what you can find out about them on the web. That may seem intuitive, but I forget it sometimes to go and read their menu, because there might be the perfect item on that list, or you might be able to tell, oh, I don't even need to spend any time going here because I got chicken wings and there's not really any vegetables, certainly not any fruits, whatever it is. So do your research ahead of time.
Know what your chefs look like. So kind of stalk them on Instagram. So when you walk in, you can pretend like you know who they are. They get offended sometimes because they are the chef of this. We serve 3 Michelin star restaurants, but we also serve mom and pop. So we treat them all the same, but some chefs act a little different. So great advice on looking at the website, see if it's worth your time to see if they can make a decision on selling farm products, and kind of get a picture of who's in the kitchen.
Can I put you on the spot? Okay. So Howard's given some great tips. Hopefully I've given some too. You told a story earlier on about what it was like to have a really great sale and then to just flop at it, right? Could you come up with a really good story about how you've grown a certain chef?
One great win, and why we do the baby steps. It makes a difference if we sell one mushroom. That allows us to, it gives us a chance to hire more people from our community for every mushroom we sell. So a great win for us is Chef Thierry Koval, who is a James Beard winner. He's in Decatur, Georgia, and now he's a Michelin star winner. And in between all those things, before he got real fancy, is that he loved our mushrooms so much that he invited us to the Highlands in North Carolina to do a mushroom dinner and wine pairing at the Old Edwards Inn. They put us up there. We spoke about it. Our team got celebrated, and it was a great win. So by coming in the door, be open to everything they want to do. We try to do events with our chefs. We've been very fortunate with AJC articles, with Leon's in Decatur as well. We are very fortunate by a camera team or whatever, a TV show saw our name on a menu, and we just did a thing with our Google chef and a guy from The Walking Dead. They came out to the farm and he cooked for us. It was on AMC, Riding with Norman Reedus. So you never know what happens by going in the door and making that relationship with the chef. Just always say yes.
That's great. And I've got a good tip with that. Also, make sure you get to know everybody who is not the chef in the kitchen. Back of the house. It has been amazing to me, the people that I generally like to talk to anybody, treat everybody really well, but you never know which of those folks is going to be the next chef at another place and bring you along. Do you have that?
That's how we get more and more accounts. When people from the back of the house know our mushrooms, they go to the next place. Word of mouth is key. That is our crew. We love the back of the house, that they make our mushrooms shine. That is the best word of mouth. That's the best advertising. And then they go to the next place, they talk about it, and that's how you build your business.
What's back of the house?
back of the house. Is anybody in the kitchen from dishwasher that's not out there serving? We still take care of all the servers. We bring in extra mushrooms for the whole team also, but that's really our people, is the grind, cutting, the ones that don't get all the kudos. Those are our people.
Before we ask questions, John, I'm going to point to you for a second. John Streely here is on our team and helped to start Atlanta Food Hub beforehand, so has a lot of experience selling to chefs as well. Did we miss anything? Is there anything you'd say? So again, just to repeat a couple things, walk in with samples if you can. They can't turn you away. Love those back of the house, people behind the scenes, because you never know where they'll go. Get to know the owner. I heard John say as well, because a chef may leave, but that owner gets to lead the vision for the restaurant. And as John said, he's dealing with a lot of the same things as you are. Get on that seasonal menu, but make sure that you can under-promise, over-deliver, and be real consistent there. We are out of time. Maybe we could get, and you went, yep.
Talk to your buyers. I know John is my buyer and weather dependent on a lot of crops. I know recently I've had to call him and be like, my truck broke down. It's actually twice in the last 2 months. And the other time was, can we bring it tomorrow? And then also I'm going to be short a little bit. I could bring the rest to you in 2 days because the weather put us behind. So if you have that relationship with your buyer, with your chef, hopefully that relationship will allow you to get through these tough times. There are some places that if you don't deliver that day, you're dead to them. And that can kill everything that you have in the ground or on growing that you have sold to them in your mind. It'd be amazing. We've seen some places that give out forward POs saying, oh, I will buy your stuff that you grow now. It's very rare, but hopefully we'll see more of that as in the farming community. But build that relationship. So when you come into problems like we did over the last 2 months, that they're like, okay, they know we're going to deliver tomorrow and not be like, push it down a couple of days, because they have people that are waiting on the product that they're selling to. So we can't stiff them because those people need their food. And if they don't go to this distributor, what chef wants, they might go to the next one. So it's very important to have communication.
And one last thing, another reason to start those, to really follow that map and to have sold at a farmer's market or otherwise, is that you may know some other farmers where it may be harder with mushrooms of your type, but if you're selling summer squash, you may know another farmer that also has summer squash. You don't want to pass that off as your own, but chef, there was a drought, it's just not looking good, I can't make it tomorrow, but however, if you would be willing to take it, I've got a really great product of the same type that my friend over here is going to go. It goes through me. You don't have to pay them necessarily. We're going to keep everything not stressful, but I'm going to take care of you. So again, we'll go back to that. Keep it as low stress as you can for them. Any other questions, any tips from anybody else in the audience that you didn't hear us say? Anybody now ready to go out and sell to a chef? Inspired? Okay. I'm going to do some this afternoon, so maybe I at least inspired myself. You probably have some coming up too. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.